Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you are warmly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post a new video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So today we are preparing jollof rice, the authentic Ghanaian jollof rice. We all know jollof rice is big in Ghana, so I would introduce my ingredients to you. So first you would need rice. I have 5 cups of rice. The cup we use here is the size, that is 1 cup of that. If you are in Ghana, it's different from this. That will be about 2.5 cups of the one we use in Ghana. But if you have this size, yes, this is 5 cups of the rice. So yeah, if you want to take note. I also have 2 medium chopped onions. I have garlic here, a thumb-sized ginger, and then 1 Scotch bonnet pepper, half red bell pepper, and then 1 small sized shallot that I have chopped up. I also have vegetable oil to go with it, and I also have tin tomatoes. For the tin tomatoes, I use 2 of that small size containers, which is about 156 ml. I use 2 size. If it's in ounce, that will be 5.5 ounce. I use 2 of this if you would want to check that. And I also have 1 medium chicken. It's a medium chicken that I have. It was a full chicken that I have cleaned and chopped up. I also have our waye or tuna. This was tuna steak. I seasoned it myself and I baked it. After I finished, it was a bit hard, but I will still use it. In Ghana, it's not as hard as this, but hey, we got to use what we got to use. So yeah, this is what I have here, and yeah, I will be deboning and shredding them, and I will add it to my jollof rice. I also have salt to taste, and I have Remie spices, jollof rice seasoning powder, which I will be adding a little to my jollof. I like Remie spices a lot. It makes my food taste good, so I always have it in my kitchen. This is common in Ghana, so when you see it, do not forget to buy. And even in most of our African stores, you can find this. I also have 1 chicken stock cube. I also have 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg powder, and 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. I will leave all the ingredients in the description section so that it will be easier for you. Last but not the least, I have romaine lettuce and some tomatoes. I'll be adding onions to it. I forgot to show it here, but I'll be adding it to it to make my salad. So without further talking, let's get right into cooking. So in a pan, I would add my chicken to the pan, and then I will blend my onions, ginger, garlic, and that is to steam my meat with it. And so yeah, that is what I have in my blender. I will blend it and add it to my chicken. So I'll add 1 stock cube to the chicken, and I'll also add salt to taste. For the salt, I'm not able to give measurements because I know Everybody's taste is different. Some prefer more salt, some prefer less. So please use it to your taste. And so at this point, I will cover the chicken and allow it to cook. So while it is cooking, I would add my ingredients to the blender, which is the bell pepper, some onions, the Scotch bonnet pepper, and some garlic. The remaining garlic that I had, I think I had 2, yes, so I'm adding it to it, and then I would give it a blend to start off with my stew. So with the bell peppers, I would chop them up and add them to the blender, and then I would get that ready to start off with my stew. So with the stew, in a separate pan, I would add my vegetable oil. You can use any oil of your choice, so you wouldn't want to use too much, so this amount is okay for me. I would add and allow it to heat up. Once it's heated up, I would add my onions and the shallot. The shallots gives it flavor, so I like to add the shallot, and so I would add it to the oil and allow it to cook for about 3 minutes. So for 3 minutes, this is how it looks. It's turning a bit brown, so this is the right time for me to add my blended ingredients. So I have added that, and I would give it a stir and make sure that everything is well mixed. I will also give my blender a quick rinse and add it to it. Then after that, I will cover it and allow it to cook for about 5 minutes, because I want the water in the spices to all evaporate. And yeah, so yeah, it looks good at this point, so I'll cover it and then yeah, allow it to cook. So it has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and I'm checking on it again. Yeah, you would want to be checking on this because you wouldn't want it to burn. And so I'm checking on it and giving it a quick stir again and making sure that everything looks good. And then I'll cover it again and allow it to cook. So the stew has been cooking for about 10 minutes. I would check up on it again and make sure that it is just the way I want it. So at this point it is good, so I'm adding my tin tomatoes. So with this place, you can add fresh tomatoes. It's your choice. I just prefer to use just the tin tomatoes and my onions and the other spices. Feel free to add fresh tomatoes, blended fresh tomatoes, if you prefer that. That is fine. Just that this is just the way I want it. That's why I'm just using the tin tomatoes. I feel like it just gives it that rich color, and so yeah, that's what I'm just doing. And so I have mixed it, and yeah, it's looking good. I will cover it again, and then whilst it is cooking, I will check up on my chicken. So with the chicken, I added a little bit of the rosemary on it. I forgot to show the clip for that, but I added a little bit of the rosemary to give it more flavor. I'm checking on it and it looks good. It looks nice. It has been cooking for about 10 minutes, which looks good. I'm checking back on my stew, and yeah, it looks good. It's not burning. It's advisable that if you have a non-stick pan, then it's advisable to use it for your jollof rice because it easily gets burned. So now in total my chicken has been cooking for about 20 minutes, and I'm checking up on it. It looks good. It looks cooked and ready. So what I would do is I would take the chicken out of the stock and let it rest a bit just to cool down. And yeah, that's what I've done. I'm checking back on my stew and mixing everything. It's frying very well. I have tasted for salt, and it needs a little bit of salt, so I have added a little bit of salt into it. And so I'll give it a quick stir, and then I would add a teaspoon of Remie Jollof seasoning to it, about a teaspoon, yes, and then I'll mix it, making sure that it's all mixed together very well and looking all good, as you can see. Then once I feel like it's all mixed, I will cover it again and allow it to cook for about 5 minutes. So while that is cooking, I would preheat my air fryer for 1 minute to get it ready. And so whilst that is ready, I would add my chicken into it, and then I would rub my chicken with a little bit of olive oil. You don't have to add that, it's optional. This doesn't require any oil, it's just that I just feel like adding it on the top of it. And so I would toss it in the air fryer for the first 5 minutes. I'm just doing it that way just to make sure that my chicken does not burn. So whilst that is air frying, I'm checking back on my stew and it looks all good. I like the color, I like how it's cooked, it's dry, there's no water in it. And so I'm adding my awawaye or tuna to it and stirring it up, making sure that it's all mixed in very. So now that it's looking all good, I would then cover it and make sure that it's all good. So at this point, I would check on my chicken because the 5 minutes is over. And yeah, this is how it looks. I want it more brown, so I would give it a quick shake and I would rub a little bit of the olive oil on it again and toss it in. So the temperature I'm using is 350 degrees, and then I'll add additional 10 minutes. Yeah, because the 5 minutes that I added first did not go anywhere for me, so I would add 10 minutes this time to see how it turns out. So I have a review of this air fryer. If you want to check my videos for it, it's a very good gadget. It's very useful in my kitchen, so if you would want to check up on it. And yeah, at this point my stew is looking all good and ready, so I have added my stock that I had sitting down there. I have added that, and I'll add about 3 cups of water to it as well. And yes, so yeah, just to make sure that it's the right quantity for me. So yeah, I'll cover it up and bring it to a boil. I did not need additional salt. I tasted for salt because I added the water, but I did not need additional salt. So I have rinsed my rice. I've washed it and made sure that the water runs clear. I know some people add their rice straight away to the jollof but without washing, but I don't know where the rice has been, so I always want to wash it very, very well. So now my water is boiling and I'm adding my rice to it, and yeah, I would give it a quick stir, making sure that all my grains are covered in the stock. So yeah, I'll mix it very well at this point, and with the quantity of the water, it's okay for me. You don't want it too much and you don't want it too less, so it has to be a little bit above the rice. That is the quantity you will be looking at, just a little bit above the rice, so that your rice is not mushy or it's not well cooked. So you just have to check it right. And now voila, my chicken looks nice and appetizing. This is the way I like it. And so yeah, I will set it aside. So my rice has been cooking for about 5 minutes. At this point, you would want to be checking on your rice very well. Lower the heat to about medium and be checking up on it. My the red spoon wasn't working good for me, so I had to change it to a wooden spoon. I have stirred it up, and made sure that it's looking good. And so at this point, I will cover it with a foil And yeah, this is to drop all the heat into it so that that heat will cook my rice for me. You wouldn't need any water to cook the rice, but you would need the heat and the vapor to cook the rice. So once I covered it, it's been cooking about I'll say about 10 minutes, and I'm checking up on it again and stirring it up. The reason why I'm stirring it up is I don't want it to burn under, so I'm kind of scooping the ones at the bottom to the top. And yeah, you would want to do it gently so that you don't break up your grains. So yeah, I will cover it again with my foil and to trap in that heat and allow it to further cook. So the rice has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and I'm checking up on it again. This time round, I am stirring it up with a fork and being gentle on it so that I don't break up my rice. It's looking all good. It's almost done. I'm making sure that every single grain is cooked. Yeah, it was a bit hard, so I have stirred it up gently and I'm covering it up again to make sure that I get every grain cooked. And yeah, so you would want to be checking. That is how jollof rice is. You would need more attention on it so that it doesn't burn and it cooks perfectly and turns out right for you. So it has been cooking for additional 5 minutes, and at this point it's looking good. I'm checking up on it and stirring it up again. It looks, yeah, at this point it's all well cooked. Every grain is well cooked. There's no grains that are hard in it. And so yeah, I am stirring it up, and I would then lower the heat to the very minimum so that it doesn't burn, and I will set it aside. I would let it simmer and set it aside. Now I have turned off the fire for my rice, and I am moving on to my salad. So with the salad, I'm using this fruit and vegetable wash that I purchased off from Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in my description section. I use this to wash all my fruits and vegetables, especially in this time that we are in. You would want to wash your fruits and vegetables very well, and this is a natural product, so I love it very well. It removes all the wax and germs on my fruits and vegetables, so I like to use it all the time. So I am washing my vegetables, making sure that I'm cleaning all the core, the lettuce. Sometimes there are sand trapped in the middle, so I wash that first, and then once I pour that water out, I will then spray my fruit wash onto my vegetables, and yeah, make sure that each and every single one of them is being sprayed with that. And yeah, I would then rub it in, making sure that every one of them is clean. So once that is done, I would rinse it and then arrange all my lettuce on my cutting board. This is how I like to fold them all in, and then I would chop them up. So first I would chop the front of it. I don't know why I do that, but that's what I do. And then I'll chop them into my desired size. You can chop them thinly, chunky, anyhow you want it. It's to your preference. And then I will use my salad spinner as well. This is also one great product that I have here. What it does is it spins out all the water in my vegetable. So in my salad, it will spin every water. You know, sometimes once you finish your salad, you have water sitting under it. No, I don't like that. So that is when this gadget comes in handy. So I will spin everything. I'll show you the amount of water that I was able to get out of it. If I had not drained this with this water will be sitting under my salad, which I don't like. So I would leave a link to that as well if you would want to get one for yourself. So here I am chopping my onions in ring shape. You can chop it anyhow you want it, but yeah, this is how I prefer to chop it today. So in a ring shape, and then I would take them out just to get them in like single ring shapes, and then I will move on to my tomatoes. I would take all the seed and the core out of it, and then I will chop that as well. So with the chopping, you can do it anyhow you want it. That is fine. And so, hey, family, thank you so much for sticking by. At this point, our jollof rice is ready. Everything is ready, and as you can see, the jollof rice looks good. I have my salad on the side to go with, and I also have my chicken. So I will be serving it. Thank you so much for sticking by, and do not forget to give your girl a thumbs up, subscribe, and also leave me a comment. Any sweet comment you have, any constructive comment you have, you can leave it down. So with my salad, this is how I want to make it. I'll fetch some into a bowl. I will sprinkle a little bit of olive oil on it, and then I will add a little bit of the mayonnaise onto it, and then I will stir it up. So you can serve it anyhow you want it, but I always like to mix a little bit of olive oil and mayonnaise into the salad and mix it up and set it aside while I serve the rice. I have dished my jollof rice very nicely. It's all about garnishing and making it look appealing and appetizing. So I've laid my